Hey, family. What's going on? It is another Wednesday night. Hope all is doing well. The $1 billion hustler. What's up? What's up? I seek truth and justice. What's going on? Ruben, my brother, how you doing? See Ruben's in the house. KCL family. African Mind Rewire family. Good to see you guys. We'll be getting going here in just a little bit, so I fired up a little bit early. But I hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing well. Doing real good. So, yep. So we're going to talk a little bit about this, these Bible doctrine stuff. What's in the Bible and what's not. Just a couple of things, because actually there's a whole lot that's not. But anyway. So yeah. So it's all good. It's all good. Let me go here. Let's see here. All right. What's up, Valerie Kelly? How you doing? Robert Bush, what's going on, my brother? Recovering from heart surgery, man. What's up? What's up? You got heart surgery. Good grief. Well, glad you're doing better, man. Glad you're doing better. The Dark Goddess is in the house. Hello, Dark Goddess. All right. Ersayan, let's see, Ersayan, how are you doing? What's up? All right. There's Vote Vibes, my daughter. How you doing, daughter? How's it going? Michael Peaks, what's going on, brother? Yes, sir. Back strong as ever. Hello, Ivory. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. So got my African Mind Rewire family in the house. Good to see you guys. Always love to see you guys here. So yeah. Well, all right. Let's get this party started. So D-Rock, what's going on? What's going on? It's Rawlicious. What's going on, Adrian? How are you doing? Ali Allen, hello. Rob, how are you doing? So good to have you guys here. So good to have y'all here. All right. So I am Reginald Q A, and I'm the founder of Kemetic Centered Living. So we're gonna have a little bit of a lesson here tonight, and some discussion. As always, a positive environment. So that's what we want to set here: positive environment and high vibration. So I like to have fun. So I believe we learn more when we're in a high vibrational state, because we open up the portals of the heavens and our higher self and all that good stuff when we're in high vibration. So I like to have fun. So this stuff, some people just take this stuff too serious, man. It's like, come on, dude, live life. Part of having life is having fun, you know? So let's do that. Sherry Littleton, hello. She's from Oregon. All right. Mimi Adams, hello. Who's that? Desmondere Haynes. Hello. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, Desmondere. D-Rock, let's see, and Michael Wilkerson, hello. Angela Rice, hello. Good to have you. Courtney with SLP, good to see you again. So good to see all you guys here. So yeah. So at any rate, if I do say something of benefit to you guys, I hope I do. I like sharing this knowledge and giving back. So hopefully you feel like you want to give back to me. So I always appreciate that. I always appreciate the generosity of my family. You guys are always so great. So I always appreciate it, most definitely. Let's see. So what I want to start off with, and we can break it off into other questions and stuff too, guys, but I wanted to talk about this idea of what's in the Bible and then what are doctrines, okay? So the actual stuff that we literally, as Christians, lived by, Okay. What's up, brother creator? What's up? What's up? Glad to have you. So, because and what brought it up was last week I brought up this idea about Adam and Eve and them being the first people, the first parents, and the idea came about was that a lot of well, I won't say a lot of, there was a couple of Christians that I had contact with was saying, well, you saying Adam and Eve were the first parents, but the Bible didn't say that. Like, okay, so they weren't the first parents. So if they weren't the first parents of humanity, then obviously there's another lineage somewhere. Or if they weren't the first parents of all of humanity, then they weren't there's another lineage somewhere that is not of Adam and Eve. Well, if that's the case, then this Christian person does not, one, understand their doctrines, and two, they don't understand the implication. Because the doctrine of what the definition of doctrine? What is the definition of a doctrine? And all a doctrine is a theory. Okay. And there are theologians that theorized about biblical stuff or spiritual stuff. Okay. So this is what, and I just pulled this off the website, and this is what I looked up, and you guys can look this up too. Is the doctrine of original sin biblical? Okay. Is the doctrine of original sin biblical? Now, this is what original sin states. Okay. And this is what I got page I got it off of. So I took some notes and some highlights and stuff. Okay. So I'm just going to read it. So this is off the internet. So when I pulled up that, looked up that, this is what I got. So it says original sin is a Christian doctrine, the condition or state of sin into which each human being is born. Also the origin, i.e. the cause or source of this state. Okay. Traditionally, the origin has been ascribed to the sin of the first man, Adam, who disobeyed God. Okay, so right there it said the first man, Adam. Okay, not the second man, or maybe there might have been somebody else. The doctrine says the first man. Okay, who disobeyed God in eating the forbidden fruit of knowledge of good and evil, and in consequence transmitted his sin and guilt by heredity to his descendants. Okay? And who are the descendants? If he was the first man, who are the descendants of the first man? Everybody. Okay? So right there, the doctrine is very specific about who Adam and Eve, or who Adam is in relation to us. Okay? The first man. All right. So while I'll keep going. So the doctrine has its basis in the Bible. Now notice they say it has its basis in the Bible. It doesn't say that the doctrine is biblical. It doesn't say that it's stated or written anywhere in the Bible. It doesn't say that. It says the doctrine has its basis in the Bible. This is why. Although the human condition of suffering, death, and a universal tendency towards sin is accounted for by the story of the fall of Adam and Eve in the early chapters of the book of Genesis, the Hebrew scriptures, or in other words, the Old Testament, say nothing about the transmission of hereditary sin to the entire human race. Okay? The Old Testament, again, I'll restate this. The Old Testament says nothing about the transmission of hereditary sin to the entire human race. So it ain't even biblical. It ain't biblical. Somebody came up with a theory and made it up. Okay? Now it says in the Gospels also There are no more than illusions. In other words, somebody can like say, yeah, it's kind of, might kind of say it, but it doesn't really say it. It's nothing but illusions to the notion of the fall of man and universal sin. In other words, they had to make up some more stuff to try to connect the dots to original sin, okay, to their doctrine. They had to make something up because it's just, they had to figure how they could twist it to like make it fit, is what they did, okay? The main scriptural affirmation of the doctrine is found in the writings of St. Paul, and particularly in Romans 5, chapter 5, verse 12 through 19. A difficult passage in which Paul establishes a parallelism between Adam and Christ, stating that whereas sin and death entered the world through Adam, grace and eternal life came in greater abundance through Christ. So they're twisting that to say that, yes, Adam brought sin into the world based on the doctrines, not the Bible, based on the doctrines that they came up. And through Christ is where everybody received the grace of God and said, hey, y'all accept Christ, you're good. You're not part of that hereditary sin anymore when you accept Christ. You're washed by the blood of Jesus. By the blood of Jesus. Okay? So that's what this is saying. They're saying the doctrine has long been the prerequisite for the Christian understanding of the meaning of Jesus's crucifixion and atonement, and was especially promulgated by St. Augustine in the West. In other words, St. Augustine pushed this doctrine. He's the one who came up and made it up. He made it up, and then some other guy says, you know what? Oh, St. Augustine, oh, that was good. That was good. That was good. I like that. Okay? I like it. You know what? Thumbs up, St. Augustine. You made up some good shit. I mean, some good stuff. Yeah, that was good. Okay? That ought to really mess them up. Because now we know we need Jesus. We got to have Jesus. Okay? So the doctrine of original sin, and guys, again, look this up yourself. Ask Google, is original sin biblical? That's how I looked it up. Okay? Now, closely tied to this original sin is the idea of total depravity. So these are two doctrines that everybody lives by that is not biblical. Okay? The doctrine of total depravity says, and it's also called total inability and or total corruption, is a biblical doctrine, not biblical, a biblical doctrine or a biblical theory closely linked with the doctrine of original sin as formalized by St. Augustine and advocated in many Protestant confessions of faith and catechisms, especially in Calvinism. The doctrine understands the Bible to teach that as a consequence of the fall of man, every person born into the world is morally corrupt, enslaved to sin, and is apart from the grace of God. We need Jesus to bring the grace of God to us, okay? But automatically, original sin and total depravity says we're born apart from that grace, okay? And we're utterly unable to choose to follow God or choose to turn to Christ in faith for salvation. We don't even have the will, the wherewithal to even turn to God in Christ, is what they're saying. So y'all just, as soon as you're born, you screwed up, you messed up, and you need Jesus. Okay? So these two doctrines are basically connecting the idea that Adam and Eve are the first parents. That's what the doctrines say. It's not biblical, though. And that's why Christians could come in and start to twisting this idea that, hey, there had to be more people than Adam and Eve, because you can't make sense out of nonsense. If Adam and Eve had two sons, How did these two sons populate the earth? Oh, well, Adam and Eve had sisters. They had more children. But shit, they were still brothers and sisters. So they was all just kind of messing with each other. Or the mother. One or the other. Or both. I don't know. I wasn't back then. It ain't history, guys. I'm just BSing. It's not history. Okay? But it's nonsense. It's nonsense that people have to stand on through their faith. They have to believe and not question. And if you don't question, then you allow stuff like this to exist. You allow yourself to accept the idea on some level that you've been cursed. And Black people in particular, that we've been cursed, and we are cursed so bad that that's the reason why we're in our condition. Okay? Around the world, we're in the condition that we're in because we did something against God. So that means we just got to stay like this. We just gonna be born and die like this because we're cursed, because we can't fight God. Too powerful. That's the mentality, guys. And even if you don't consciously state it, there's a program that's running underneath that we're cursed. That's the reason why we're in this state, and we can't get out of it. We got to stop that. Got to stop that. Okay? So I'll give you guys a little homework. Some of these doctrines that you think of, hell is another doctrine that's not biblical because it doesn't exist. Somebody made it up. It doesn't exist. It never was biblical. And the thing that we get is a misinterpretation of these ideas from the original scripts. Okay? From the original biblical scripts. Look up these doctrines, guys, and see where they're coming from. And you're going to find that a lot of the stuff that we've been taught to believe about that's in the Bible is really not. We are living, as Christians, we live someone else's spiritual experience and their ideas and accepted them. Can't do that. You can't fit your whole being into somebody else's ideas of what life is supposed to be. Okay? It's painful. Stop it. And Christians, stop making it up as you go, just to justify these nonsensical stories that you get. Because they're nonsense. And you can't keep trying to make sense out of nonsense. It turns your own ability to critically think off. That's what it does. And I know people that are otherwise very intelligent, that when it comes to the Bible, they shut down. Their brain you might as well just take that shit out and sit it on the table somewhere because they're not using it. Stop. And this is the reason why I'm bringing this stuff up, because most people think I'm trying to attack Christianity. I'm not trying to attack Christianity. But what I am trying to attack is these ideas that make us as people feel like we're something less than and worthless. Because you look in our communities, in Black communities, anywhere in the world, and they're not self-sustaining economically. All a business is somebody that sees a need and then serves that need in some kind of way, and people are willing to pay for that service. That's what a business is. So you're trying to tell me that there are no hotels in these communities, there's no stores, there's no grocery stores, very few. I mean, I'm in the Dallas area, and where there's predominantly Black people, they call it a food desert, because most of the communities here that are predominantly Black don't even have a grocery store that people can go to and shop. They have to go somewhere across town. Okay? And it's not unlike a lot of other communities in these areas. Doctors' offices are not there because the doctors don't live in these areas. Okay? There's dry cleaners. are usually not owned by Black people. Okay. And the reason why I'm saying this is that it's truly, it's not necessarily about race, but it's about economic determination. And if you are not circulating money in your community with each other, that community cannot be viable. It's not. But we accept these ideas that were broken because of these doctrines, that we are helpless without Jesus, that we need saving. What does Jesus look like? All of us in the West has gotten a white Jesus. So who's supposed to save us? The same people that have been oppressive in so many centuries all around the world. How does that work? How does that work psychologically? It's crazy. It's madness. So we have to change our mindsets, guys. We have to rewire our minds to understand that we are gods and goddesses in training. That's what we're here to do. We're here to learn that we are creators. Now, I do use the Bible because there are some truths that can be found if you can look beyond the literal and historical perspective that we've been taught and given, because that's complete bullshit. Plain and simple. But esoterically, there are some ideas that can work, that it can verify. And I use the Kemetic teachings because only through Kemet can we connect back to the original source of what these ideas were supposed to mean. Okay? That's why I study Kemet. That's why I talk about these ideas so much, because it can unravel the Christian BS that we've been given. It can unravel the indoctrinated crap that we've been given that keeps people suppressed. Suppressed, depressed, oppressed, they pressed. Shit. But anyway, so that's the reason why I talk about these things, guys. That's the reason. So I want to thank Israelicious gave $9.99. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adrian. I definitely appreciate that. And who's that? D-Rock. Thank you very much, brother. I definitely appreciate it. Appreciate it. Gave $5 and asked a question. Says, what about all the many credible testimonies of people claiming to have died, gone to hell, and come back? D-Rock, that's an excellent question. Excellent question. Because our realities are created by our beliefs. And there are people who have bought so much into these ideas through life that you take that consciousness with you through death. And you have a whole, and once you die, you have a construction that you have to have in order to exist in at first in death. You have an environment, an atmosphere, whatever you want to call it, that you have to exist in. And what do you take with you through that death? What does your consciousness move through death with? The same ideas that you had in life. They don't just go away. And if your ideas of dying and death is that you're going to go to heaven or hell, guess what you're going to construct? And guess what you think that you're going to be, that you're going to, depending on what you believe about yourself, is the area, is you're going to create either heaven or hell. If you believe that you're a good person deep down, you're going to create a heaven. If you believe that you're a bad person, you're probably going to create yourself in hell because you just assume that that's where you're going. But D-Rock, there's also very credible and many different studies that people have done over the years that show that there is no heaven or hell, that when people go into the life between lives, there is something else. There is no heaven or hell that they are experiencing. People that don't believe in heaven or hell don't go there when they die. There are many cultures that don't believe in that. It's the West and Christian cultures that bring that stuff forth. So I'll ask you this, D-Rock. If you look up and see what cultures are claiming that they went to hell and came back. Because the original teachings from the ancient Africans through Kemetic science says that we are in hell now. This is earth. The earth is actual hell. It is the underworld, according or from the perspective of a soul. That's what they're teaching. Okay, that's where the Greeks got these ideas called. They call the underworld Hades or hell. We translate that as hell, but the underworld is earth, because they are talking about it from the perspective of a soul that is falling into a physical body. Light falling into the body, into matter. Okay? So a lot of people will make up their stories based on their beliefs, plain and simple. Okay? Let's see. Let me see. And Breezy Universe says credible with the question mark. Yeah. So I'm saying that I'm not saying that they're not credible, and I don't know. So I don't know which ones he's talking about, but I've read many books and read many studies, because I'm a person, I need science on some level that to give me some answers. Okay. So just conjecture or what else, I can't rest on that. I have to find out some stuff. Okay. That's what I bring to you guys, you know. So when you in the videos that I show you, I'm usually putting my books, the ones that I cast. I usually put the books and references for you so that you can look that stuff up too. Okay, not just me just yakking, just talking, but you can look it up. All right. Let's see. Ashley Williams says, preach. No, Ashley, don't put preacher on me. Don't do that. I'm not a preacher. No. No, let me say it like this. Hell no. But nah, I get you, Ashley. I understand what you're saying. I get you. I appreciate it. So it's all good. All right. Michael Peaks, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You gave $20. Michael Peaks always comes through. Yes, we make heaven and hell. I live in heaven daily because I create my heaven. There you go. Absolutely. Same here, man. I create heaven. I endeavor to create heaven. And if you look up in the King James Version, look up where heaven says that where the Bible says heaven is. Okay, it's not where the doctrines say it is. The Bible says something else. In Luke chapter 17, verse 20 through 21. Okay, King James Version specifically, because the other versions start to twisting stuff. Okay, because they have an agenda. But look it up in the King James Version. Somebody tell me where do they say heaven is in the King James Version? Okay? So, man. And Linda Roming says heaven and hell are states of consciousness. Absolutely. States of mind. So, for real. Let's see. I knew this was wrong when it tried to attack me reading this when I was a little younger. I knew it didn't make sense. Like, why would God criticize any of his people? Yep. See, Ty Johnson, Cecilia Brown. I'll have to look her up. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, I know some of Sylvia Brown's work. Interesting stuff. Let's see. And how does Kemetic science have it? Darian Cooper says, what does Kemetic science have to do with the Kabbalion? The Kabbalion is written through Hermeticism, Darian. And Hermeticism is from Greeks, and Greeks were taught by the Egyptians are Kemetic people. So, because the Kabbalion, and I love that book. That's a good book. It puts stuff in a kind of a more simplified way. So, great book to read. But Greeks, Egyptians, Hermetics, Kemetics, same stuff. All right. But the Greeks still twisted some ideas. Okay. So it still twisted some ideas. Let's see. Elijah Williams says Dr. Ian Stevens confirmed what you were saying as well through various studies he conducted with children around the world. Yeah. There are so many of these studies around. I mean, they're easy to look up, and with the internet, and there is no reason ignorance should pervade. Okay, and I swear to God, and I keep talking about this, but the idea that Christians use as the idea of faith, all it is a license to remain and stay in ignorance. You have faith in what you're told. You have faith in what you believe. And never look anything up. Matter of fact, if you look something up, your faith is now in question. Your spirituality, so-called spirit, because it has nothing to do with spirituality. It's mind control. That's all faith is from a religious perspective. It's just mind control. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Just looking questions. What is it? Let's see. DeQuan Hughes says, why do they often bring up Satan, these Christian people? Because they need a bad guy, And I saw a good question asked the other day that along those lines. Okay. So God sent Jesus to earth and he killed his own son. Okay. Why in the hell wouldn't he just kill Satan? I mean, they would get rid of all this stuff if that was true. If there was any truth to it. If there was a real Satan, why wouldn't he just kill Satan and be done with it? Then it'd just be all good in the world. We all just be lollipops and sunshine all day, every day. Why? Because that's not how it works. Man, it's just this stuff. It's just, why kill his son to save us from sin? Why not just why not just kill the dude who created sin? I'm gonna get the cussing in a minute. It once you just start to logically think about it, it just makes no sense. It really doesn't. Ruben, thank you, brother. Ruben gave $20. I appreciate you. All right, that's family. Man, my KCL family and my African Mind Rewire family, man, are some good people. I appreciate y'all so much. I really, really do. Let's see. So it's just the stuff is religious stupidity. I was going to say spirit. That has nothing to do with spirituality. The spirituality is supposed to make sense, not these contradictions that they be putting up, man. That's just, it's wow. See, let's see. How would you explain that we can unlearn what we have learned? Yeah, being and becoming. You got to study. I have a class that's teaching you how to unlearn it, teaching you how to connect the dots, teaching you how to rewire your mind. Okay. You have to study it. You have to look this stuff up and learn to think through it. Learn to critically analyze it. Because the more you are involved in Christianity, the deeper that you get into the idea of what faith is, you stop critically thinking. There are so many people who believe so strongly in Christianity that they find it hard to function in the world. Because they're given a whole world view. They're given a view that there's good and evil. It's good and evil, and there's nothing in between. Either it's this or it's that. That's not how life works. So is you have to study. You have to find information out for yourself. Find people who can lead you in the right direction. It doesn't have to be me, you know, but check them. Check on what they're telling you. And I'll say to anybody here, check on what I'm telling you. Check it for yourself. I give you the resources to check for yourself. I'm not asking you to just believe what I say. I don't want you to do that. We need leaders. We don't need people who are just going to follow. I want to create leaders. I want to create people who are going to help other people that are coming out of this stuff. Not somebody who's just going to follow blindly and just be like, oh yeah, whatever you say. Hell no. Don't do that. Don't put yourself in that position of believing in somebody else so hard that you put your own way of thinking and your own way of being to the side. Don't do that for anybody. Because believe me, I'm a human being. I don't do everything the right way. I make mistakes. Don't think that I'm some kind of perfect guy. I'm not. I make my own mistakes. The reason why I learn a lot of this stuff is because I done screwed up so much. So learn. Go and learn and you know, find some people to learn from. If it's not me, go to somebody else. But learn. Be open. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. And Natasha Parker says she's new to the platform. I'm new to your platform just a few days now. So happy I ran into you. Not coincidental. No, it's not. Never is, Natasha. Never is. You're probably asking questions, so you're getting some answers. Love JJ is in the house. What's up, Love JJ? Glad to have you, brother. Let's see. Why would God create an entity, Lucifer, who would oppose him? Yeah, and Linda, Linda, it doesn't make sense. It's if you're thinking of God as a human being. I mean, me, if I'm gonna create something, I'm pushing the easy button, baby. I'm not gonna create my own opposition. You know, so but opposition is here. That's what it is. And if you look up Lucifer, also, it doesn't mean Satan. It's only the King James Version that connects Lucifer and Satan. So Lucifer actually has a positive meaning. It means light, okay? Being of light. So only the King James Version does that. Let's see. Christopher says, so heavenly bound, no earthly good. Yep. Some people are so heavenly bound, they're no earthly good. Absolutely. And they think that's a good thing. Don't have no fun in life. Man, sometimes the fun stuff is like kind of on the edge. You know what I'm saying? I ain't lying. But anyway, live, experience. That's what life is about. Let's see. And let's see. Yeah, bearer of light. Yeah, that's what Lucifer means, bearer of light. Thank you, young mind elevation. That's correct. Let's see. Approximately how long did they have to create the Bible or any of those books that are out there that promote any religion? Yeah, I can't answer that question. I don't know. So I don't know. Aisha. Yeah, Aisha. Actually, I just talked about original sin. So that's what I talked about first. So I led off talking about that. That is not biblical. So it's a doctrine, which is a doctrine is a theory, but original sin is not biblical. So they find scriptures to basically try to connect the dots, and they just like twist it so it can say, yeah, this is what it means. It's original sin. This is why it's supposed to be like this. But original sin is not biblical. But it does say Adam and Eve are the first parents. So that's what the original sin. And all of its descendants are sinners because of that. And that's why we need Jesus. Okay. And Orange Moon says Jesus never existed. No, there was never a person that walked the earth named Jesus. Well, I know. Well, I got a brother, somebody I know, is named Jesus, but the biblical Jesus did not exist as a human being. Okay, a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's just the truth. So let's see. Humans seem to be creating their own opposition. Yeah, well, that's just what life is. Life is about working through those oppositions. So as a soul, you learn through opposites or opposition. So you gain your wisdom through opposition. So that's part of what this I guess this game of reality that we are in, it's about us learning and gaining the wisdom through our opposition and overcoming it. One of the biggest things that we're supposed to learn to overcome is fear, because the universe is a friendly place. It's a safe place. But we are taught to fear, and Christianity is one of the biggest components of that. That we're supposed to fear so much. Fear the unknown. We fear learning something new. I mean, you got to think about it. Adam and Eve ate from the tree of good and the knowledge of good and evil, and it was illegal basically for them to do that. Christianity is the only religion that I can think of that basically outlaws learning and not gaining knowledge. Think about how crazy that is. In other words, for Christians, especially early Christians, and even to this day, to gain knowledge, or I'm sorry, the more ignorant that you are, and the more faithful that you are through your ignorance, that's a better level of Christian to the people who came up with Christianity. The more ignorant you are, and willfully ignorant through your faith, the better Christian you are. Think about it. Think about what it meant to have faith, that you just didn't question and that you just accepted, and you didn't even go try to study and find out anything about what you were being taught. So ignorance for a Christian is a high level of spirituality. That's the only religion that teaches something like that. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Crystal Turner gave $19.99. Thank you, Crystal. Definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. So let's see. Going here. Let's see. Yeah, mom of man, Maranta says, read the books as literature and keep the religion out of it. You can't cause. You still may have Christianity upon you. The Bible isn't Christian, so read it. Read it as it ought to be. On some level, I can agree with that. That you have to know the keys. You got to get the keys to read the Bible, because we think the Bible was written for everybody just to kind of read and learn, but it was written in coded language and what's called esoteric language. So it wasn't written with the idea that it was going to teach everybody something. It was written to teach a specific group of people. And really, the New Testament was actually scripts, in a sense, written for a play. Yeah. Scripts. If you read the stories from an esoteric perspective, and you understand the keys and the little innuendo that's in a lot of the stories, the story of Lazarus, man, that's the Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. If you read that from that story from the beginning to the end, it reads just like a play. Especially if you know the esoteric keys, it reads just like a play. Yep, Christianity normalized ignorance. I agree with that, Judy Smith, for sure. Christianity normalized ignorance. Absolutely. They normalize a lot of things They normalize being conflicted and living in conflict every day, as if that's supposed to be you don't know the ways of God, so that's why you're in conflict. That's why you're supposed to live in conflict, because you can't work through these ideas yourself. So and because you're conflicted means that it's a higher level that you just can't reach yet. It's complete ignorance. Okay. Let's see. Okay. The Egyptian. Let's see. Dump DZ says, what is the Egyptian second death? That's a good question. So understand what the first death is that and understand that the Egyptians, their writings and their spiritual writings, the soul is the main character every single time. The soul is the main character. This body is not the real you, or it's not the real me. Okay. It is the soul that is within, the soul that you are. Okay. So when in the heavens, the soul is omnipotent, omniscient, and I forget the other omni. But those three things, the soul is in a state of awareness that it just knows everything. Okay, it is aware of all. It is aware of being connected to the all. Okay, it is alive. It's the living soul. But when it descends into a human body, it loses that awareness. It loses that omnipotence and becomes blind. Okay. It dies. That's the first death, that it loses that awareness of its omnipotence. Okay. That's the first death. The second death is an individual that never ever connects and never ever learns again of their soul through their never ever connects to their higher self. They end up dying unaware of who they are as a soul. In other words, when they die as a physical body and they die unaware of who they are as a soul, that's the second death. They die in ignorance. So in the esoteric language, being blind, being drunk, being asleep, let's see, dead, okay? Those are all references to being unaware, okay? All references to being unaware. And if you understand that as a key, and you understand what the Christ is, okay, or what Jesus is, then you'll see you'll unlock the key to what is being taught in the miracles of Jesus. Okay. Fort Law, what's going on, brother? Good to have you. Good to have you. All right. So the second death is an individual who dies unaware of themselves as a soul. Okay. So the Egyptians, and on the other part of that, the salvation, okay? Salvation from the ancient Kemetic perspective is the person who gains the awareness that they can incarnate into another life. So when you are alive in another life, another physical body, you are saved. Salvation is the ability to gain, or the ability to live another life, not being saved from hell. Okay? That's what salvation is. All right? So all of it is connected. You'll see that all of it ends up being connected in just a nice, tight little seam, so to speak, once you understand the esoteric language. Okay, and it makes a lot more sense. A lot more sense. Herbalist King, let's see. Herbalist KLG gave $5. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And let's see. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Herbalist. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Allegory. I'm only using this literary. Okay, gotcha, Elijah. Elijah says, I know the Bible is allegory. I'm only using this literary reference. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Let's see. The age of Aquarius has to come. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, Blair Cannon. Appreciate that. We are eternal beings. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. This body is temporary. It's a transitory existence. We are the eternal beings. Okay. The idea of Jesus is really, and I talked about this in the last, my last video was Jesus turning water into wine and expressing what that means esoterically. But Jesus is just a flash of knowing, flash of clarity, of gaining wisdom. Okay, Jesus is the personification of that idea. Okay, like let's see, how can I use an analogy? So when we personify something, we're saying that this inanimate thing is like this as a human being, or would be like this as a human being. Okay, and I'm just drawing a blank right now, but to personify means that oh man, I know there's some good analogies, and I'll think of one as soon as I get off. But it's just a personification of an idea. That's what it is. Okay, and I'll think of something. I'll come up with something here. See, Voche, I know you come up with some good ones. What's a good personification? Let's see. A lot of people around me, even my mother, believe the world is going to end according to the Bible. Yeah, Aisha, and again, it's all misinterpretation, you know. But the misinterpretation is, again, it's to an end. It's an agenda that people have. Keep people in fear. You know, the Bible is not going to end. Yep, the Bible's been used to justify a whole lot of stuff. So Tim Reed said the Bible used to condone slavery. Yep, it was. See, Muhammad Mobley says, I've been following your channel for a while, and I'm so glad I did. Your teachings changed the way I look at the world, but most importantly, my inner self. Thank you. You're welcome, brother. I definitely appreciate that. Appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. Let's see. Let's see. And Melvin Reed says, why do we incarnate just to murder and suffer bad things? And that's a good question, Melvin. And this is the thing you got to understand, is that as souls, we come here to learn. We come here to gain wisdom. Okay. We come here to experience life. The whole idea is, the big picture is that we come from the one, and then we descend, and then we return. Okay. Come down, descend, and return. The whole time, the only way that you can return is to match the vibration of the one, which is just an infinite vibration. All right. Along the way, you have to learn how to basically raise your vibration. So the experiences that you go through are what you're supposed to learn to basically balance. That's what living Ma'at is about. It's basically being in balance. All right. So as souls, we're here to learn. We're here to experience life. Then we are going to experience some good things and some bad things. Well, if we're going to experience some good things and some bad things, then there's going to have to be some good people and bad people. So we have soul contracts with people that are going to help us along our journey. We might have people that play the bad person. Okay? It's all part of the grand scheme of people learning. So why good things happen to bad people, or bad things happen to good people, is because Good people have to learn. Good people have lessons that they have to learn too. And sometimes those bad lessons, those bad experiences are the catalyst for us rising and becoming better. Sometimes we lose a job. Sometimes we lose a loved one. Sometimes we lose, and it's a catalyst to make us rise, to make us overcome. And it is only through that pain that we can begin to overcome where we were before and begin to change. Okay. So your original question is why do we have bad things? Why do we come to this earth to experience bad things? And that's why. Okay. We're never victims. We're always here to learn. Always. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. So MOM Man of Marantha says, so Jesus was never a historical individual who mastered the vibration? No. Jesus was the example for all of us. Jesus was the personification of what is possible within all of us within humanity. Never a historical person. And I know for a lot of people that I just seem like I'm off my rocker for even saying that because, oh, there's just so much evidence. No, it ain't. Everybody uses the same sources. The Bible. Take away the Bible and that Jesus person disappears. Guaranteed. You cannot prove a Jesus outside of the Bible. The one person that they said even mentioned Jesus was Josephus, was proved to be a forgery. Take away the Bible, and the individual that we know as Jesus that supposedly died on the cross disappears, does not exist. Okay. Let's see. All right. I was looking to see if there was any more questions. I'm sure. Let me go back up because I'm sure I missed a few. Because I've been rolling. Let's see. What is the junk DNA and how to evolve after death or activate our 99% of DNA? Dump DZ, that's something I haven't necessarily studied. I know about the idea, but it's not something that I get into because to me, a lot of that stuff, it's like we have to master the simple shit first. We have to master just like moving through our lives, you know? So master through handling our family conflicts, our relationship conflicts, being broke as hell. We got to master that stuff before we can start talking about recalibrating our DNA. So I personally, I just don't get into it because it's like, it's way up there, you know, and it's like, what's the point if you can't handle the shit that's here? That's just my thinking, though. So I know everybody don't agree with that, and everybody doesn't have to, but you know, but that's how I look at it. So it's like we get into all of this like high level stuff, and it's like you're supposed to jump over life to all of a sudden master this high level stuff. It doesn't happen that way. If you don't master life, in other words, you can't live balanced through life. You can't get to all that other high level. You got to take care of your shit here. Work on your shit. That's all I'm saying. Oh man. So anyway, let's see. All right. Let's see. Licia Jones said, "Can you explain demon possession?" Licia Jones, I'll say this: most of the world do not believe in demons, and most of the world do not experience demon possession. Why do you think that there are some parts of the world that do, but most of the world doesn't? But the people who experience demon possession assume that everybody in the world does. It's about a belief system. Demons, from a symbolic perspective, the ancients would talk about demons and stuff like that. But the demons were again, they were the personifications of our fears. That's what a lot of demons were. And even today, the demons that supposedly possess people, they're really the personification of fears. But they think that something, because they have this idea that they're sinners and blah blah blah, they need something to absolve them of that idea that they are a sinner or that they are a bad person. So they got to say, well, the devil made me do it, or a demon made me do it. Okay. But there is nothing that has power over you, nothing outside of you that has more power over you than you do. Nothing. Okay. All right. Catholics and their demonologists. Yeah, I mean, it's again, they've invented a whole system. If you got original sin and guilt that you can't even like be absolved of, then you got to have something to absolve you of the guilt. So, original sin, the ultimate guilt, then the devil made me do it. It wasn't me, it was the devil, because I'm a Christian. So it had to be the devil or a demon. Get it? You can't have one without the other. So when you step back from it, it just makes sense, So it's a trip. Let's see. Dumb Deezy says that makes a bunch of sense. Definitely need to work on what's here first. Yeah, definitely. But that don't mean that you can't explore that stuff, though, because a lot of the stuff is so fascinating, man. It's just, study all of it, and that's kind of what I did in the beginning. Years ago, I studied a lot of different things, Anunnaki, DNA. I mean, you named it, man. I was like, wow, man, that's fascinating. But then I just kind of narrowed it down to what I can help people with is help them to like transition from spirituality or from Christianity to spirituality and get in touch with their higher self. So that's me. Live life on your terms, man. Be a creator. So let's see. Yeah, Dark Guy says check out the Orishas and the laws. Yeah, and Orishas are just the same as the African spirituality. Orishas and netters are the same thing. So, same thing. So, I talk about Kemetic spirituality, but the foundation of what is Kemetic spirituality was a part of all of Africa, and they have different names and different traditions, but the principles you'll find them the same all over Africa, which is crazy to really find out. That we think that Africa was just like this continent that just didn't know anything. That's just not the truth. It is just not the truth. So Africa gave the world spirituality. Let's see. CJ Max says, how do you feel about the Metu Netter book by Ra Nefer Amen? Yeah, I've read that book. CJ, it was very confusing for me. This is years ago. I mean, probably, man, it might have been 20 years ago that I read it. It was very confusing for me, so he used a lot of different language, and for me, like the concepts I understand, but I really try to simplify them to where I'm using today's language and our language in English to express these ideas. And a lot of times people they try to use the ancient language, but it's like you're trying to learn another language and the concept. That leaves you too much in your rational mind where you can't intuitively connect to stuff. And that makes things too difficult to me. So I really try to break it down to where you can understand the concept and then you can connect to it intuitively. Let's see. D-Rock says y'all are just going to dismiss anything that doesn't fit in your own belief system. Yes, a lot of people will. So, and I think the D-Rock, I think on some level that's natural, that we're going to automatically dismiss something. But I think any intelligent individual, if it is of interest, and even if it goes against their belief system, if it's of interest and how can I say, it's something that they might be passionate about, then getting new information only makes sense. Once you get that new information, then you can decide about it. Decide if it's something that's relevant or not. Let's see. Let's see. We got folks on here with some Jesus juice. I can't understand why they come in. I mean, they already know what it's going to be about. I don't think they're going to be converting anybody, but I don't know. It's like trying to go back to to me, it's like Christianity is like being in elementary school, and then once you graduate, you move away from it, and then the people in Christians are saying like, "Hey, you need to come back to elementary school because this is the truth. We know what it is. Come back to elementary school." No, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Let's see. Eugene says, Jesus juice. Ooh. Oh, man. Hey, Eugene, if you knew the original meaning of Yeusa, what that came from, you probably would go, ooh. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, there's no new information. This definitely. All right. Man, y'all writing books up here. Y'all got to keep those questions short. Keep those questions short. And Jesus answer. All right. All right. Man, it's already after 8 o'clock. Dang, guys. It's already been time when flash. Yeah. Now my lips is like, I guess I pulled a lip muscle. I can't speak. I'm injured. But anyway, time flew by. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah. But guys, we're gonna end it up tonight. So I appreciate you guys being here as always. All you guys that gave tonight, thank you again for your generosity. I really appreciate you. All my moderators, Dark Goddess, Fort Law, Voche, Rala Creator, Love JJ. Thank you guys very much for being here. I appreciate y'all most definitely. So, but we're gonna end it tonight. So next week we'll do it again. All right. You guys have a wonderful night.